Buckshot Roulette is a game where you basically sell your soul for a lot of money. The aim of the game is, you get your contract, you sign it, and then you face the dealer with a loaded buckshot rifle. And your goal is to defeat the dealer in 3 rounds. First round, no items. Second round, 2 items per that you get. And third round is 4 items per that you get. And when you do that, you get your briefcase full of money. For those of you that have seen and or played Buckshot Roulette, you would understand that this hits YouTube by storm. It was fun to play, fun to watch, funny, and with the unique graphic design choice of everything looking like a deep fried oven, it really made the game stand out. But what we're here to gauge today is, if you don't have Buckshot Roulette or you're not interested in the single player, is it worth it just for the multiplayer? And the answer, I think, is yes. My reasons being, let's start with the first off. You could do a 4-person multiplayer experience. You have friends, great. You don't have friends that want to play with you, there's a Discord you can go to for people who want to play Buckshot Roulette. You can get the 4-people thing. They all have different items. You go in turn order. There are unique items to the game. And overall, I think it's a lot more fun than a random, sometimes stupid, sometimes insanely smart AI that rips you to shreds. In single-player Buckshot Roulette, you get the main campaign, and after you finish that, you unlock the Never Sleep Pills, which is endless mode, which is just basically saying what's the highest amount of money you can get, double or nothing, you keep going, right? And items are random, lives are random, everything's random. Multiplayer is like that. The item numbers can be random, and the lives can be random. Before you go into a lobby, you can look at the customization menu, where you can dictate what is the max amount of items each player can have of one type, how many can be on the table at once, what is the starting lives. You can even select what the kind of shells get loaded into the gun. You can't select the order, but you can select the amount. You want 8 lives? You want 10 lives? Go for it. I don't know why you would want that, but you can. Turn order then goes just in a circle where there is an item if you have more than 2 people, specifically, that rotates the turn order. If you are to pick up the gun, you could shoot any of the 3 players, use an item, you can do whatever you want. Unlike the single player, this game has a lot more choice. Single player, it's do I shoot myself or do I shoot the dealer? In multiplayer, it's do I shoot myself, this guy, that guy, or that person? And you basically have to determine what is better. The goal is to be the last man standing per round. Another unique item in the game is called the jammer. The jammer, when you pick it up, you're able to completely skip a player's turn. It replaces the handcuffs. And with just 2 people, it kind of is a little bit overpowered, basically guarantees a round for you. But with multiple people, it takes a while, and the game, I feel like, would be a lot more fun. If you want to get the game, and you have the friends that are looking for a fun party game, I feel like this is a great recommendation. As the single player, it lacks some core aspects from the multiplayer that definitely make it stand out. The single player, you get the 3 rounds. In the first round, there are no items. The first round is just, here's some bullets, gamble. It's the purest definition of gambling. And that's at least where I found the most trouble. With other people, it's like, okay, so you get through the first round. Then you get items. You get 2 items per load. You don't use them, you could stack items. And say you beat that third round, you get 4 items each load. And it makes the game a lot more hectic. If you die, there are no real stakes. You just kind of come back. Even when you're the last, even when you're on the last round and it cuts your lifeline, you get shot, that's endgame, you're done. It doesn't feel like there are any stakes. Because you can just come back and it starts you right at the beginning of that round. There's nothing. In multiplayer, there are a lot more stakes. You're in a competition with people you either know or are able to talk to. You're able to make alliances. You're able to just straight up betray people. You're able to think accordingly on a 4-person front rather than a 2-person front. The game is like endless mode. in the single player. Where endless mode, it's sets of 3 rounds, but you get items on all of them, and the lives you get are random, all of which is random, the number of items and the lives. And the basic goal of endless mode is to just see how high you can go. How much money can I get before I die, right? And this runs into a fatal problem of it takes forever to finish a round. The dealer's AI is one of the most fascinating pieces of AI I have ever witnessed in a game. Not that it's super complex and that it's really smart and all on top of that stuff, but more because it isn't predictable. It's completely insane at some points, where it'll saw off the gun to do double damage and then shoot itself, thinking it's a blank, and it might be a blank, to which it just wasted the saw, and you can't fathom why the hell it would do that. But that's where the downside of the dealer comes in. It's all completely random. You have no able-bodied prediction to win against the dealer unless it is your turn, where he can't do anything. If it's the dealer's turn, that's completely arbitrary whether or not you get shot or not, and whether or not it kills you or not. Not to mention with the items, if the dealer uses an info item like the burner phone, which was a newer addition to the game that tells you what a shot is in the load. The example being like the 5th shot is a live shot kind of thing. Gauge what the dealer knows. It's a complete gamble. If you're playing with other people, you are able to read them better. They use the phone 5th shot's alive, and they're acting funky around the house. Alright, I know you know a bullet in the chamber soon, and or right now. I am able to prepare accordingly to counter that. Whereas the dealer, you don't know what he's told. And at some points, the dealer doesn't know what he was told he acts like. But this brings me to the point, why is multiplayer better in my opinion? Honestly, it's the fact you're able to communicate. It's the fact that you're able to talk with, joke around with, beg for your life. That makes it way more fun. You know, comedy-wise, it's a lot better. The single player blew up. There's no mystery about that. The single player exploded when it came out. The game is wonderful. It's fun. It's definitely worth playing regardless of what I'm saying. And I cannot recommend it enough. But if you are unsure about it and you don't know whether or not you want to play it, the single player is optional. You can get multiplayer straight from the beginning. And that's where I think it shines. You want a party game? You want a game where you could play with your friends casually for fun? This is a great choice. It's similar to that of like what Lethal Company was. Not gameplay-wise, but how people see it when they play with other people. Lethal Company isn't really the game you play solo. But with Buckshot Roulette, if you want to play it solo, say you play the multiplayer with your friends and you get really interested in it, you can play the solo. Play it, play through it, have fun with it. Experience the dealer, see how high you can go in endless mode, rack up those stats on the computer screen, enjoy the music in the background, enjoy the graphics, find secrets with choosing the name and stuff like that. All of this is a good thing. But the multiplayer adds aspects to the game that make it way more fun. It's like Uno. There's a turn order. You're able to reverse the turn order. You're able to skip people. You're able to play whatever items you want and shoot whoever you want with the rifle. All in all, this choice is just a no-brainer for me. When Buckshot Roulette came out, I remember watching it. And I remember being fascinated by the game. I thought it looked really fun. And as someone who really likes games that involve luck and gambling and stuff like that, I really took to it. It was fun. And then the multiplayer came out, and I wasn't really interested at first. And then I watched someone play it, and I was like, okay, I could see the potential in this. I got it, and I played it with the background footage that you're seeing on top of it all. And I determined, this is amazingly made. This is fun. A fun game like that, rare nowadays. Party games are either a hit or miss. It's either it's great and you keep coming back to it, or it's a one-off and you'll never touch it again, or it's just bad. But this is definitely something you could come back to because the items are random. You can select the amounts. You can take items out, put items in, do different game modes with it. When you're playing a game with friends, you need it to be random. If it's predictable, if it's the same thing, it becomes stale. It becomes bland. You know what's happening. You're able to prepare for it. With this game, you don't know what's going to happen. They have a set of items on the table. You don't know what order or what their plan is for them, but they know. And it adds that tension. And with the communication, being able to talk to other people, it really drives the point home. There's no dealer. Some downsides to the multiplayer. I will admit there are some downsides. One of which is a real sad thing for me, there's no way to add bots. You know, the downside to having the multiplayer is you kind of need people to play it with. There is a Discord you can go to play it with other people, but I feel like it'd be more fun with friends. And as I was saying with the bots, there's no way to add bots yet. I'm confident, I am positive, that at some point in the future, though, the developer will add a way to add bots in the multiplayer. Because this leads to my next point. Some of the games, if you're playing with two people, are incredibly one-sided. You know, if you look, these are two images of what my partner did when we were playing the game. She was able to keep track of what bullets there were and was keeping track of what they were in the chamber to accurately predict what they were going to come out as. If you don't do that, it can be a little one-sided with two people. But if you have four people, if you have a full lobby, that strategy goes out the window. There's too much going on. Doing it like this is really smart. You're keeping track of what everything is, and with the phone you're able to, write it down. It's a good strategy, but it makes games with just two people incredibly one-sided and can come off as not that fun. However, if you have a full lobby, that strategy goes completely out the window, as it's all chaotic and you can go through a round and, the first two people and nothing will happen. That being said, the cons should not be ignored. If the ability to not have bots, if the ability that some games might be one-sided and that you need friends to play with are a problem to you, then that's totally understandable. You can go for the single player if you want, but if you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it. But, like, some of the pros to the multiplayer alone, it's just, everything is better with friends. It's way fun to talk to people and be able to talk to people instead of dealing with an AI that's completely unpredictable and insane at some points. The new items like the jammer and the remote you won't get in the single player at all. It's only $3 on Steam. It is a cheap game, something most people can afford, and it goes on sale pretty regularly. So I really, really suggest buying it. It's cheap, it supports the creator, which will in turn make the game even better. There's the gambling aspects, which of course make it fun, because gambling's fun. There's always the room for growth, because you are learning what the items do and developing strategies when you're playing with friends, and you can become really good at this. And then with the changeable match settings, you're able to do different game modes. You can take out items. You can have it only be one item. You can select the rounds. You can select the starting lives. All of that can be selected. And you can really make the game interesting and unique, like taking out certain items or having a lot of certain items. It changes the odds. And in a game about gambling, odds are everything. The question we came here today to ask was, is the game worth it solely for the multiplayer? And I think the answer is yes. I think that if you were going to buy this game, you had no interest in the single player, but you are looking for a game to play with friends, this is something you want. It's a extremely fun version and take of what the game used to be, and I highly implore you to go try it and buy it and support the creator. The single player is real good. It has its aspects. It's definitely better in some fields than the multiplayer. You're able to predict, practice. There's the double or nothing challenge, all of that stuff. But the multiplayer, it's always more fun with friends. Everything's more fun with friends. So with that being said, I'm going to leave this episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please try out the game and let me know how you like it. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!